Hello, everybody, and happy Halloween. I've got a special episode for you, talking about one of my favorite characters from the old EU comics, like I often do. Love those EU comics, Dark Horse, and Marvel, too. This is a spooky special here. We are talking about the Dark Lady. I'm gonna say this wrong. I'm gonna try. I mean, I've never heard it said out loud, so I'm gonna try to say it right. Anya Kuro, I guess. But she chose to call herself the Dark Woman, and so we're gonna call her the Dark Woman throughout the video. So the Dark Woman is the Jedi from the prequel era that creeped out all the other Jedi. The Jedi are a bunch of magic, mind-reading, brainwashing mystics who wield laser swords and can levitate and stuff. And they were like, this woman, she's too weird. Like, she's weird. They all thought she was weird. Even for a Jedi, she was like 2 out of it. She was very committed to the Force, and she was kind of a Force radical. So she's a very interesting character with an interesting arc. So let's talk about her. And then at the end, we'll talk about her card in minis. So, Dark Woman was first introduced in the pages of Star Wars before it was Republic. In Dark Horse, it was just Star Wars with occasional subtitles. I think this one was A Vow of Justice was the first one. Very early on in Dark Horse's thing. This is 1998. This is before Phantom Menace came out. So she's one of the characters that predates Phantom in her appearance in the early arcs of Star Wars before it became Republic, where she is introduced as kind of a Jedi trainer, mysterious, harsh teaching Jedi trainer who was kind of quit the order because her specialty was recruiting Force-sensitive kids and training them. But one went wrong, and that was, of course, Aurra Sing. Aurra Sing, the legendary bounty hunter who kind of haunted and ruled the Star Wars comics in the lead up till Attack of the Clones. She was a big name. She dropped off the map a bit, but she's appeared since in canon stuff. Not, I think, as prominently, but in the big days, Aurra was this Jedi hunter. She's in Phantom Menace briefly, and she was a big deal. And the Dark Woman was kind of her failed trainer. And so this ties into Ki-Adi-Mundi's story on Tatooine and his whole arc with Asherad Het. And we see her first introduced as this kind of brutal trainer who failed Aurra Sing. And then it starts early on to get into that she's kind of wacky and strange, but mostly her reputation is for being a brutal trainer. But in the Clone Wars, she decides to come back to the fold and work as a spy. And the Dark Woman is a very good spy because the Dark Woman can do stuff that no other Jedi can do around that time, at least in the EU. And that is why she's so spooky. And the number one thing that she can do is she walks through walls. Straight up. And this is why she's kind of a controversial character, I think, among Star Wars fans, because she's got a little reputation as having this OP weird power that like only she and a few other Star Wars characters throughout the EU can do. But she walks through walls. It's awesome. I think, I find it totally plausible that the Force could be used to put you through a wall if you know how to do it. Why is that so off limits when levitation and mind reading is in there? If you're gonna do all that, she mostly does the wall walking though in the comics to do like Batman style badass exits. Like she'll say something badass after a conversation and then like dip out through a wall. Like Batman style. She'll just be like Batman jumping off a roof. The Dark Woman just like walks through a wall to end the conversation. She does it a bunch. It's like her gimmick. I read a lot of her stuff. I was mostly introduced through the early comics in Star Wars before it was Republic when I was very young. And then she got fleshed out later by John Ostrander and Jander Sema when they took over writing Quinlan Voss and Thom and Isla Secura, and they put her in that zone with Thom. And Isla came back. Not Isla. Isla was there, but Asajj came back too in that. So that was fun. I don't know if you can hear the cat chomping in the background. Sorry for that. He's hungry, I guess. So I think she's a really neat character. And I really like her like I like most Ostrander and Sema characters, as I'll talk about anytime Legacy comes up. But she is very cool, I think, because the walk through walls thing. She's also kind of got arguable teleportation powers. I had to dig through back some of my comics and went on Wikipedia because I can't remember her doing teleportation, but supposedly that's something that she did. I remember the walking through walls. I couldn't find the teleportation stuff digging through my trades in the wall back there. I never show it off, but I got the Star Wars trades in that second shelf. Top shelf is Hellboy. Yeah, so she does mainly I think that the walk through walls is the big thing, and it's the thing that just like weirds all the other Jedi out. They hate that she calls herself the Dark Woman. She calls herself the Dark Woman because she thinks the Jedi should have no attachments to the Force. She's like a real Jedi purist on that. No attachments but the Force. And so she even gave up her own name to have no attachment to a name, which is kind of silly if you think that you're giving up your name to give yourself like a really cool name, like the Dark Woman. Like that's kind of, an attachment there. Like, it's like Bruce Wayne being like, oh, I'm not going to be Bruce Wayne. I'm going to be Batman because I'm so devoted to the cause of crime fighting. I'm going to call myself Batman. Like, you think that she probably a little bit enjoys going around and being like, boo, I'm the Dark Woman. I walk through walls. I'm the Dark Woman. Like, I think that she probably enjoys that a little bit. Let's be real. But she's a cool character. I really liked her arc going through the Aura tragedy to rejoining the Jedi and fighting, and then ultimately continuing all the way, eventually, I think, in the pages of Empire, which followed up. Well, Empire was going simultaneously with Republic, but Empire post Order 66 took some coverage of Republic, and they gave her a close in a showdown with Darth Vader, where Vader tracks her down, and they have a big duel, and she's very tough, and Vader is impressed that she's still got the strength after all these years. But Vader is Vader, and he beats her. But in true Jedi form, at the end, she's almost sympathetic to him, and she's like, "You can come back from this. Like, this is not have to be it. Despite all you've done, you can still come back to the light. You don't have to be this." And he doesn't believe her, and he kills her. And she turns into a Force ghost at the end. So I think it's a really great end for the character. It gives her a big status, I think, to turn into a Force ghost. You know, Vader kills a lot of Jedi. They don't turn into Force ghosts. But it acknowledges how special she was as a character in the EU era, to live on as a Force ghost, to display her mastery and connection to the Force, that she gets to go on and taunt Vader as a Force ghost, knowing that he can never defeat her truly. And that's her end. She's a great character. I'm a big fan of her badassery. She's got a purple lightsaber. You know, she's one of the purple lightsaber users. Everybody with a purple lightsaber is cool. Let's be honest. There's some great art of her. And I just really always got so excited whenever she would pop up in a Star Wars comic. Like, it was so cool. Oh man, the Dark Woman's back. You know that it's about to get real. What the heck is she gonna do this time? And she was tough for an old lady, even at the time of the Clone Wars. She was tough. I think that was cool. To have kind of that representation of her going in fearless to battle, and I just am a fan of the character. I think she's something special and unique, and I don't like my Star Wars Jedi to be overpowered necessarily. So I hear the argument that she's a little overpowered conceptually, but I think that you know, it's fine to have Jedi who can do cool things if that's their thing, you know. And her thing is that she can walk through walls. That's her specialty. Her thing is that she has a mastery of the Force in the physical realm, and the ability to kind of ignore it. And I think that's a special, interesting connection that she has with the Force. You know, other Jedi excel in other certain ways with the Force, and I think that's interesting, and that's how it should be, is that everybody should have a special connection to the Force. So although I have some disdain for the Jedi who are portrayed as superpower undefeatable, it can be annoying. But I don't think that's the case with the Dark Woman. I don't think she's lore breaking. I don't think she's unrealistic and out of line with what we see. I just think that she's trained and focused and connected to the Force in a way that maybe other Jedi can't comprehend, and that's what makes her spooky, and really cool. And I love that. I just think it's very neat, and I just love the idea of a Jedi who's so weird that the other Jedi are whenever she shows up. It's great. I'm a fan. So let's get into her card. And her, well, you want to check out her figure first. It's fairly neat. I acquired her a while ago. I didn't do an unboxing because I was waiting to do this full character analysis and talk about her. But you know, it's a cool piece. The card is interesting. It's a really interesting card because I think they've represented her fairly well. Maybe a tad underpointed, tad underpowered, but, you know, it's a debatable piece. Let's take a look at it, because she's got some interesting stuff. I'll hold it up there for a second so you can take a look if you want. I'll pop it on the side. She has a few things that are really... So she's 21 points, you know, but she doesn't have any attack powers. She just does 20 damage at 10 attack. That's it. Melee attack, no double, no nothing. But she's got Light Tutor, which means at the start of the skirmish, you can choose an ally. If that ally does not have a force rating, it gains Force 1 and can spend this force point normally, and is considered to have a force rating for the rest of the skirmish. If that ally already has a force rating, that ally gains 1 force point. That's really cool. The possibilities here are pretty wild. You can give force points to characters that were never intended to have force points. It works super well, I think, with a lot of fringers out there who can benefit for using force points for rerolls. I mean, mostly you're going to do this for rerolls, exclusively, really. But there's so many evaders out there who can use force points for rerolls. There's so many characters out there who just can absolutely benefit by getting 1 more force point, and then it'll be very divisive in certain situations. Decisive, sorry. I think that there's other stuff that stacks. Like if you give someone a force point, suddenly, you know, then they've got other benefits. If you can give them renewal, then, you know, wow. If you can give them, you know, the combinations are limited by the faction, but there's stuff out there that you can do through teaming her up with a force spirit or all sorts of things to suddenly supercharge people who were never meant to be supercharged in this manner with the force by light tutoring them. I mean, just, it's really nice. And even if you don't want to do that, you can just stack an extra force point on some characters who could kind of use it. I think it works really nicely with the characters who have unleashed powers or stuff that is conditional. You know, unfortunately you can't pair her with Kip Duron, but that would be great. But just that 1 extra boost is really nice. Especially characters who aren't designed to use certain powers multiple times. You unlock new combos on them. Do not underestimate the power of 1 force point. I mean, it is game changing. I think for certain characters, there's so many amazing things you can do with this. I love it. I think for that point cost, it's very cheap. She does like no damage, but still, she's so cheap. She's 21 points. And she's still got 110 hit points and 19 defense. And then her crazy stuff, her force powers, are Cloak and Phase. So Cloak, if you don't know, it basically gives you Cloak for the rest of the skirmish. So you can't be targeted by non-adjacent enemies if you're in cover. It's super stealth. So she has 4 force points. If you want to spend 2 of them, you can make her super stealth through the rest of the skirmish, except that it can't be taken away by any of the anti-stealth powers. Cloaked is cloaked. It's I think uncounterable, which is awesome. Again, because she's a spy and an assassin. And then she has, I think, the only character in the game I checked, Force Phase. Force 1 can move through walls this turn. What the heck? She can move through walls. I mean, this is the Dark One. That's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, you think about that on a base level. Her damage output is so low. What difference is that going to make? But when you think about the amount of times in this game where you've got a commander or somebody parked in the corner of a room or anywhere, giving out very powerful commander effects. She can just go right in, and she's got enough damage to hit them in 2 turns before they kill her. Absolutely. She is an assassin, I think. And if you can find a way through commander effects, because she's a follower, to boost her combat ability, not that hard. Get her around the back wall, sneak her, phase through, she's cloaked, you can't hit her, boom, up there, and doing the damage. It is a tremendously special character. She is designed, purely to get behind the enemy team, throw them off balance, and do a little violence. Tactical violence. I think she's a very, very, she's a scalpel. She's a scalpel. You have to use her with a solid plan in a specific way, because the damage output is very low, but if you boost it through commander effects, if you boost her attacks, if you boost anything, I think she can really get some value. And honestly, the light tutor is incredible too. I mean, it really is. Just the idea that you can give somebody Force 1 and a Force rating who didn't previously have Force is awesome. It's awesome. As a beat stick, and a duelist, she's terrible, which is a little underselling her character maybe. But I think from a game design standpoint, I really like having her be 21 points. So she can play as a support and an assassin. You don't need to have her stick around the character that she's light tutored. You just pick someone at the start of the skirmish, they get the Force point, and then whatever they're doing is what they're doing. But from there on, she's off for 20 points doing whatever, and I think she can go take out commanders who are in the back doing way more important things for way higher point costs than she's doing. I mean, it's really useful. Just manage to get opportunist or cunning or something on her, and it's great. I am a big fan of her. I am so eager to try her out. I haven't yet, because I haven't played in a while, unfortunately, but I am just like over the moon to get this one. She's cool. She's really cool. Yeah, I think this is one of the times that Wizards really represented the specialness of a character in their card in a really effective way. I really love what they did with her. I think she could be a little better at fighting for a few more points. Cunning would be reasonable, or deceptive something, and maybe make her cost like 26, 27. That would be my ask, so that you don't need to give her a commander effect to make her a better 30 damage assassin. But as she is, I mean, I think she's great. I really, really like this piece. I think she is awesome. And I think her sculpt is awesome too. I mean, I think it's great. She's running around with a big billowy cloak, stalking her prey. Yeah, so that's the Dark Woman. She is a underappreciated fave of mine. I say underappreciated. I think that she has almost been forgotten a bit, but back during the heydays of the Dark Horse comics, I think she was a hotly debated figure about whether she was breaking the canon, breaking the lore. I don't think so. I've always been a fan. I love her aesthetic. I love her powers. I think she's very cool. I love the idea of a Star Wars character who just does something that nobody else can do and that's kind of like her jam. She's like a teacher, and she walks through walls. Like, that's it. And it's great. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a long one, but I really wanted to talk about a character that I like so much. So thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Happy Halloween, and may the Force be with you always.